gentlemen, and we're going to be talking a lot of football with a lot of different folks. It's 2025 SWAC Football Media Day. We'll be talking with all the coaches, of course, Alcorn head football coach Cedric Thomas, T.C. Taylor, the head coach of Jackson State. We got some new coaches in this league. Sam Shade, first-year head coach at Alabama A&M, met him yesterday for the first time. Eddie Robinson Jr., the head coach at Alabama State. Terrell Buckley, first-year head coach at Mississippi Valley. Terrence Graves, whose team won the Western Division. And Mickey Joseph, didn't get a chance to talk with him last year, but we will this year. Tremaine Jackson, first-year head coach at Texas Southern. And, of course, James Colsey, the head coach of Florida A&M in his second season. Raymond Woody Jr., the head coach of Bethune-Cookman. Lonzo Hampton, the head coach at UAPB. The way the setup is this year, we are in the room where they're going to have the SWAC digital network one-on-one interviews digitally, so all the coaches will be coming this way. You know, in years past, we've had issues getting all the coaches, but we won't miss them this year, and so we will definitely have an opportunity to talk with them all. I'm Charles Edmond, our producer, Cedric Tillman on video side, Jay Miles on this morning. We're going to take a timeout here. When we come back, Alcorn Athletics Director Edwayne Robinson is here. We always start with the athletics director talking a little Alcorn athletics. We'll follow up from what we had, the last interview that we had. So we'll take a timeout here. We'll be back in 1 minute, and we'll get it started right here on the Braves Sports Network.
We are exactly what you think. We are not at all what you think. We are past, present, and future, all in one. Because the best way to honor our history is to make history. General Motors, honored to sponsor the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
Here, every journey is unique, but no one walks alone. At the Alcorn State University School of Business, we don't just teach business, we always empower visionaries who dare to reimagine it. From day one, you'll forge connections and develop the confidence to lead in a rapidly evolving world. Join a legacy of trailblazers who don't just respond to change, they drive it. Always ahead, always empowering, always Alcorn.
To Birmingham, glad you can join us here on the Braves Sports Network, 91.7 WPRL, and Facebook Live, WPRL. We're going to do something a little different this year. If you have any questions or comments during the course of the entire Media Day coverage, you can text a question. You know how we normally do it, 601-301-2611, and on X, Tall Man Radio. Folks are getting set up. The SWAC's going to have a big announcement about their streaming platform. That's going to be coming up. We're going to talk all about that with the commissioner, Dr. Charles McClellan. All the coaches that we mentioned, they will be joining us. We're going to talk with Carlos Brown of the Carlos Brown Show. He covers Southern University. We're going to talk with various athletic directors about this new landscape that we're in with this pay-to-play and all the other stuff that's involved with that. So there's a lot in the hopper. We're going to try to cover as much ground as we can. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start first with our athletics director, Edwayne Robinson, joining us here from Birmingham, his first football media day. We appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Charles, for having me.
Hey, it's your first foray with SWAC football media day. You were just coming in and you're just trying to get the lay of the land in this room. You've got the SWAC and you've got the different podcasters in the room opposite to where we are. Not this next room. This is where all the action happens on the print side. Mm-hmm. You're going to have the ESPN folks, Jay Walker, Tiffany Green. They're going to be talking with all the coaches and players. And then a room opposite of that is where all the podcasters are. So I remember my first time here, there was one table, and now it's expanded probably 50 times over the last, I would say, 15 years.
Yeah, our commissioner in the SWAC office has done an outstanding job just putting more in, not only more into the SWAC, but making Southwestern Athletic Conference much more visible, viable, and putting us literally on the map of everyone. So it's really good to see not only the SWAC, but HBCU football having a footprint much larger than what it used to be. And we're just excited to be a part of it. Alcorn of course, has a rich history in the SWAC, a lot of winning, a lot of success in a number of sports. So we're just excited to be here. I'm glad to be here as the athletic director of Alcorn, representing our great institution, along with representing our student athletes. So just I know a lot of other ADs. We've been in the business for quite some time, but I'm excited just to not only be a part of this event, but more importantly, be representing Alcorn and our president, Dr. Trace Cook.
Wall-to-wall coverage. We'll just stay on as long as we can. We'll try to get all the coaches, and like I mentioned, we had a different setup this year where all the coaches and players will be coming this way, so we won't get a chance to miss anyone. and we definitely want to get all the coverage. Last time we talked, it was quite a bit of conversation. Talk about the last few weeks, and football players are on campus, basketball players, the men's basketball players are on campus. Things are starting to ramp up here.
Yeah, they are, and we are really excited. We got a lot going on campus, as you know, a lot of infrastructure happening. The student athletes are back with basketball and football and volleyball, and soccer is right around the corner. So sports is in the air, so to speak, and we're excited to be a part of it. The football program is, really exciting right now with Coach Thomas really kind of getting in his group and feeling really good about the program. I'm starting off the year with the program in the palm of my hand, so it's just exciting right now to just see all the robust and ready for some football, Charles. I mean, I think, but anytime you got to watch hot dog eating on ESPN, along with the kickball and the dogs going through the courses and all that kind of stuff. Look, that shows you right now that sports is it's kind of dead right now. But baseball's going on and all that. But here in the South, we want some football.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, to me, it seemed like this off season has gone by pretty fast. Usually it kind of drags along in June, but it's just so much happening, a lot of moving pieces in sports, especially with this new landscape. I think it kind of sped the time up a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. And even though it seemed to pass by very quickly, it's like each day now is dragging because we're so enthusiastic about it getting here. But it's right around the corner. The first game will be here before you know it. And we're ready to kick it off.
As far as the football piece of it, and of course that's why we're here talking SWAC football.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen? This is the second week in which our football players have been on campus.
Mm-hmm.
Just talk about what you've seen and all the coaches matriculating, the players matriculating, the conditioning at this point in time. Just kind of course you were in compliance. Camp starts in a few weeks. What can't you do at this point in time from a compliance standpoint here in the middle of July?
Well, one of the things right now, we're just getting kids acclimated, to everything that's, conditioning, a lot of different things. We can't be in pads, of course. So we're just kind of getting them acclimated to the football scenario on campus. Just really excited about the attitude of the young men we have on campus. Got some really good kids. The president actually came and met with the team the other day. I held a team meeting for football, and he came and spoke with the team and talked about his history and the history of Alcorn. A lot of kids they looked surprised and took it all in. It was really exciting to see that, and that says a lot about our administration and the support that they're going to be giving our entire athletic program, because he made it very clear that he wants to meet with all of the athletic teams. But being a football guy, he took that very much to heart.
Yeah.
So it was really exciting to see them come on campus, be a part of what we're doing. We didn't have a lot of kids to go into the portal, so it's just really good to see everybody back. And the strength coach, the team meetings, the kids working out, working out on their own. It's just a good, robust feeling going into the new year. I know they're excited. A lot of seniors that I've spoken with, unfinished business on their behalf. So it's just really good to just see it all coming together right now.
You talk about the history. I mean, we're going 100 miles an hour right now in terms of just, with the pay-per-play and everything, the expectations. but do we have to slow down sometimes and deal with the history and kind of revisit the way things were a little bit? Because this is how we got here in terms of the history, the foundation, the bedrock. Because I don't hear a lot of that. Just you talk about the Pete Richardsons and the Marino Cassams and the Theo Danzis and the Cardell Jones and the Steve McNair. I mean, just going way back to where Alcorn football was in a really, really good place. It still is, but just the history. You don't talk about the history that much. And I'm sure with Dr. Cook is trying to do that, just to say, hey, this is where we are, but we can't forget where we've been.
And we have every intentions of not letting our student athletes forget about our history, and that's one of the things that I plan on trying to implement more of is not only just teaching them, but creating more opportunities for them to engage our history, more marks around the buildings, around our infrastructures to remind them about our history, because it's important. Although they grew up in a totally different era, they need to see, hear, and sometimes even feel how the foundation was built. It is so good for us to have a president on our campus that's not only just is a part of Alcorn's history, but he's a part of athletic history. He can physically talk about playing with Steve McNair, and when we go over these things, they can see how he transitioned from the football field to beyond the field. And I'm almost want to do a short movie on him. But he's with all of that being said, we have so many things that we want to make sure that our student athletes don't forget, but at the same time we still have to keep up with the changes that are occurring. The landscape, as I mentioned before, in college athletics has changed so tremendously, and Dr. Cook is aware of that. We are going through a transformational period for our facilities enhancements, fundraising, along with ensuring that our student athletes have a quality experience on campus. And those are the things that, for us, that we have to try and manage and keep up with so that we don't get a bunch of kids jumping into the portal. And, our campus is amazing. The love that our students get when they come to our campus is amazing. So along with all of that goes with that, the historical part helps breed the foundation that we need so that they can see and feel what we want them to feel while they're students at Alcorn.
One of the things that we didn't talk about the last time, and of course the transfer portal is just a reality. Every school deals with it. Some schools get hit harder with it more so than others. How was the transfer portal as far as student athletes at Alcorn? Did it hit us hard in totality, not just football, but just in all the sports? Were we hit hard with the portal? Is it just the way of doing business? You're going to have some that are going to hit the portal. But did it hit us harder, or was it kind of light on us?
It didn't. We were kind of a little less than, when I say middle, right below the middle part. Not a whole lot of athletes, but we got some new coaches in as well. So some coaches made some changes, some students made some changes. When you're losing a basketball coach, or you lost a volleyball coach, baseball coach brand new. So we had several, coaching changes that impacted the transfer portal in the sense of, coaches come in, they have to evaluate students and then make some changes. But overall, we didn't have a bunch of students saying, I want to leave Alcorn.
Yeah.
And I think that was, I know that was a really good thing for my football program especially. My basketball program, of course, losing Coach Bussey, who was very successful with us. You get a brand new coach in. Some of those kids, you have some conversations with them. They want to make other decisions because coaches want to bring in their players. So as far as kids wanting to leave Alcorn, I wouldn't say that was a huge impact for us. The successful students were definitely approached about leaving Alcorn, and right now, that's an option for all students, no matter where you go to school. So I think it may not have hit us this year, but I expect us to be successful across the board this year in a number of our sports. So I don't know if we'll have students wanting to leave Alcorn, but they definitely will likely be approached about the possibilities.
We're talking with Alcorn Athletics Director Dwayne Robinson here as people try to pass in front of us here. Probably need to put up some barricades because it is
chairs here or something just so they don't come through.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is a different landscape. It is different, and it's changing. It seems like hourly, and that's just the way it feels.
For sure. The opting in piece for us gave us options, as I mentioned before, to do some things with our scholarships and on campus for our student athletes. But it also implemented roster caps for us. So now sports have definitive roster caps. I mean, every sport has a certain number that they have to go with. Now, in the big scheme of things, that helps in a number of different ways, because now a coach literally has to go out and specifically get kids that he's going to depend on within that roster cap. But it doesn't allow for a lot of walk-ons on your team. So, but even when you get the walk-ons now, that's an additional added expense and liability for the program. So, it's an opportunity there, but at the same time, it can provide some drawbacks. But our coaches right now are heavily recruiting continuously as we speak. But right now, they have those roster caps. Football is pretty much set, along with basketball. So they're in. Most of my sports now are pretty much there. I think one or two kids and students now kind of wait to see if another school is going to come with a little bit more than just the scholarship. So there's some opportunities there as well.
Well, I'm learning about this opt-in and what it means and the roster caps and everything that's involved with it. I do a weekly podcast I co-host. And Southern University's Associate AD was on, and he was talking about, of course, Southern's collective and what they're doing, but he made it clear that these caps and these limits, these are options, but they're not. You don't necessarily have to do it if you have to be able to afford to do some things. So it's not mandated. It's the rule. You can if you can afford it, if you can do it, and that's kind of what I came out with it. And so kind of explain that, because you can do it, but you got to put some dollars behind it.
You got to put some dollars behind it. Right now, football is at 105. So if they choose to go, they can award more than the 63 now. And if they want to go up to 70 scholarships, but the university has to provide the financial resources in order to make that happen. Technically, some schools may be in a position to add maybe 5 more scholarships, but at the end of the day, adding 5 kids to 63, how much of an impact is that going to impact your program? Now, if you have a kid that's what it does do, if you have a kid that's out there and you've awarded 63 and you have a kid that's out there that you get last minute, or you really want to go beyond that and say, I really want to get this kid, then that opportunity is there for the university to say, okay, we'll provide this extra 1 or 2 scholarships for you to get that kid who you may have missed. So it does provide some flexibility in the sense of just being able to go beyond that. But again, the resources have to be there. So, and that's where every school has to legitimately say, do we have the funds and resources to provide that increase in those areas?
What do you see the future being as far as that is concerned? For example, football, do you see an additional 5, an additional 10, or whatever it may be? What would be a soft landing spot or a realistic landing spot for Alcorn football?
Well, I could see us going up to potentially 70, but we want to do it across the board. We want to, if it's a 10% increase in football, we want to do a 10% increase across the board for all of our students. All of our sports, rather. So, even though football is the engine for for the entire program, as far as my sports are concerned, we want to give each coach an opportunity to get that extra student or 2 to impact their program. So, but I can see potentially at some point going up to having a 10% increase, anywhere between 5 and 7 at some point. I think our fans are going to, and supporters are going to be able to support that, with the additional funding to some degree, and that's something, of course, I'll have a conversation with my president about as well. So, but yes, that would probably be a soft landing spot for us.
So, you're talking about a percentage, and you're talking about a number. So, if it's a 5% for football, that means it will be 5% for all the sports.
Well, yeah, because when you start thinking about 5% of, say, like my baseball team has 11 scholarships. For them, that's a very incremental.
Yeah.
So I would likely go with the 10% because that gives them a whole nother scholarship. Any sport, 10% will likely give them, and that's why I say anywhere between 7 to 10%.
Yeah.
To at least it be a whole scholarship potentially to add a player that can impact your program.
Okay, so that's a good. I'm still learning all of this.
You're fine.
It's I'm just anxious to see, and we're going to be talking with other athletic directors to see what they're doing, just to see what this landscape could possibly look like for other schools. But I would like to see how this is eventually where this is going to take us.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
that's kind of my
resources.
concern.
Yeah,
but
it definitely boils down to resources, and we at Alcorn, we've done a lot with a little for so many years, and we're going to continue to work hard and be successful. But we're going to have to maintain and keep up as well in order to maintain competitiveness with some of the other programs, because I guarantee you the other fans out there are going to be, and supporters of other programs, everybody's wants their program to be successful.
Yeah.
So
the last time we talked, obviously with this new landscape, working with J.J. Smith of the Collective. At the time, you were saying that the conversation hasn't been made, but I understand there have been some conversations here since the last time we talked.
Yes, it has. J.J. and I have sat down and talked about how we can combine our efforts and resources. We're also going to meet with our on-campus representative in the foundation, and the goal at this point is to pull our resources and efforts together. We need to be one, Alcorn coming together to support our athletes and make this thing whole, so that everyone can see that we're pulling in the same direction together. I think that's really important when we start asking someone else to support our efforts and our athletes. It's going to be good for them to see that we're all on the same page, and our athletes and people that's supporting them, the fractions of efforts, we want to try to pull everybody together.
Yeah, I have looked at other collectives. I think Prairie View, they have their foundation kind of runs the whole show, the collective, and so that's the one umbrella for them, but every school is different. So for Alcorn, you have athletics here, then you have the collective here, but you want to kind of tie it all together where everyone's rowing in the same direction.
We really want to try and tie it together. JJ's done an outstanding job with the collective up to this point, just kind of with the support that he's had to pull together. I think there's some other resources out there that we can sit down and talk about that we have on campus as well. And it's just going to be important for us to do that, Charles, for us to really to pool our efforts together to some degree. And I'm not sure if we'll do what everyone else is doing, but we definitely got to sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah, there is no one blueprint for it. I mean, everybody's doing some stuff that's different, I would assume. And so as everyone tries to figure this out, you'd assume it's not going to look the same for everybody.
No, it's not. And it's going to be important for us to look at some of the successful blueprints as well. And like you just said, there is no one way to do it. But at the end of the day, I can tell you it is important for whatever the efforts are out there for it to be a combination between a collection of the resources and talents of everybody to pull in the same direction. That's going to be vitally important for our success.
So we'll be following up with that. We're going to have different conversations as we go along.
Yep.
So we're
I
definitely
want to get that message out to our fans and supporters.
I guess that's a constant message, and transparency and communication.
100%.
I think that's the key. So we'll definitely be talking about that. Let's talk a little bit about football. Once we kick this thing off here, and it's going to be kicking off here shortly behind us in the next room with Tiffany Green and Jay Walker, all the coaches. Football season is here, the 2025 season. But, Mr. Robinson, and you saw the 2024 season. There are some folks that are still, and I've learned this is, I'm not an Alcornite in terms of graduation, not yet. I'm working on it. But there are people that are still kind of confused, kind of in a fog a little bit about last season. We had some big wins, beat Grambling at Grambling and had some good wins, but the way the season ended. And I know it's easy to move forward and to move on, but some folks that I've talked to and texted have not. And I know you're trying to get over something. Whether if your goldfish dies, it's like, well, get over it. Well, it's easier said than done. But for some of our folks, getting over the way the season ended is easier said than done. What would you say to folks in terms of trying to move past what happened, the way last year ended, and try to look forward to this season?
Well, I can say this, that if we don't forget about last year and we let that linger, it could definitely impact us moving forward. So what I would tell the supporters to say, we need to let that go in order to provide the support for us going forward. I don't want the negative thoughts. I mean, just, if we lingered on yesterday in our lives, we would have a hard time moving forward. And Alcorn State University has gone through a number of different things. I know right now we're talking about football, but we've had one time we didn't win a game one season, and we moved forward. We moved forward to winning championships, continued to win championships. So I know winning will help people forget, but I really want to encourage, and I know true Alcornites just love Alcorn, and the passion that they have is not centered necessarily toward the university. It's just about the memory of things. I just don't want them to allow that to impact the support that they're going to continue to give our student athletes and our program. Coach Thomas is in his second year, of our program, and he is working tirelessly, super hard. These athletes are working tirelessly, and they deserve the full support of our fans, and that's what we want to give them. And they need to see it in the stands. They need to see it in the financial support. They need to see it in every aspect. I would ask that we try to not do the negative social media piece if we can avoid that, because it is impactful especially to our kids when they see certain things. They need as much positive support as possible, because if we remind them of what a mistake that may have occurred, then that could potentially, we never know how people are going to respond to negativity, but I can tell you they always respond well when things are positive. So as adults, we can let it roll off, but when it comes to our student athletes, the more that we can put out there positive to support them, the better, for sure, because they're young and impressionable, and they need as much support as we can give them, figuratively and emotionally. So I just ask our fans to continue to love Alcorn, continue to support our student athletes, and we're about to kick off a new season. August 20th, we got an inter-squad game on campus. We're going to put some festivities around that. Let's get ready for some football and come out and support our students for all of our programs.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, obviously, we're here dealing with football, so obviously football is the one thing on the plate. And you talked about the support, and it's a big season. I mean, it's never easy to win. We know what the schedule looks like at Northwestern State, at Alabama A&M, the Cruise Classic of Mississippi State, and then Pine Bluff and Memphis. We got to get off to a pretty good start. It's not going to be easy playing on the road.
And I think we will. We got some really exciting games. Even the game at Northwestern, I think we'll get a bit of a barometer of what we look like. And then when we go up to Alabama A&M and play spoils up there, that'll be great for us. And then going into Memphis and having some success there is going to be huge for us, for the program, for our recruiting in that area, the footprint that we plan on leaving there. If we can come out with a winning record out of those first 4 games, I think we'll be in pretty good shape there going into the month of October.
If you have a question, 601-301-2611 on X Tallman Radio. We've got a question. We'll get to that in a moment. That Memphis game, putting that together, and that was UAPB's home game. to make that happen. And Memphis is an area where we've had our midwinter conference, a pretty good alumni base there. So it really kind of works out to where it fell in our lap, and we're able to make some things happen. And I think there's some activity surrounding that game. The Memphis chapter's involved apparently, and so that's going to be a really big deal.
It's going to be a huge deal for us to be in Memphis. We want to make such a footprint that they ask us back. So I know the Southern Heritage folks they're excited about us coming. They've been doing a lot. Pine Bluff has been doing a lot. We have secured what we need to secure there in order to make that footprint. I've had fans asking about the hotel, and we're going to our goal is to sell some tickets on campus prior to the game. When people come out to the home games, they'll be able to purchase the tickets, or if they want to purchase Southern Heritage tickets. I don't know if we'll have them online yet, but we definitely will have them for sale, hard tickets on campus. But that is huge. I mean, that game, to have the opportunity there when they approached us about it, coming to Memphis, I was really excited about it, and even being the visiting team was good because we had to go wherever UAPB decided to go. But we're getting some financial support as well, so that's really good for us too. So it's going to be really, really good. I know right now everybody's just kind of getting ready for the season, but come to Memphis, everybody. It's going to be exciting.
Come to Northwestern State.
There you go. Come to Northwestern State. So, but we really are excited about going to Memphis for sure.
We've got a couple of questions from the text line, 601-301-2611. Mr. Robinson, it seems like so many people are on the sidelines talking about home games. What will be done to control the individuals who are not authorized to be on the sidelines?
Well, this year we are implementing some special procedures and guidelines to reduce that number significantly. I can tell you that it is our goal to not to have anyone on the sideline that without credentials to be a part of that. And I hope that as we put up more signage and have more security, folks will abide by the guidelines and rules that we'll have, because it does create a liability issue for the university that we don't want to have to manage after the game. And it impacts potentially our players, our coaches' ability to do their jobs. We want our fans to enjoy, but everybody likes kind of being in the mix and on the sideline, but we have to be mindful of those things that it can impact, especially our players and the liability for the university. So we do plan on implementing some better guidelines, having more personnel on campus that will restrict folks from being there, and just to be a little bit more specific. And so that's our goal this year. I just hope the fans and everybody just really work with us and abide by the guidelines and messages that we have out there.
We appreciate that question. Another one, will there be hydrating stations again this year for the game?
It will be. Actually, I have a couple of ideas that I plan on implementing. We're going to have, the goal this year is to have some misting fans on the concourse area up under the bleachers. So, excuse me, fans will be able to come and get water and a misting fan, stand there and cool off for a bit, and go back to their seats if they choose to do that. So that's something that an idea that I came up with this year, to try to have at least 2 stations for that. And if there's nothing but a water cooler where people can just get a cool drink of water and go back to their seat. Also, Sodexo will be having a station that'll just have drinks, and I think kind of light refreshments, light concessions. So we saw some of that happening last year, so we do plan to implement some things to make it better.
I do notice that some teams choose in the early part of the season to play their early games at night and maybe play the day games later in the season to avoid the heat situation. I know at my alma mater, Grambling, they at one point in time there was a rule that they were not going to play any home games that early in the month of August or September because of, I think they had some people fall out one year, and there was a liability there. So I'm sure that's it's kind of a delicate situation. Yeah, you want to play but it's getting hotter, it seems like, and you want to have those night games, but you want to get people home. So I'm sure that's always a conversation when it comes to scheduling those games in the first month of the season.
And particularly at Alcorn, because we want to have the game at a time when folks can come out, enjoy our beautiful campus, and get back home at a reasonable time. Fortunately, we don't have any. I know people want games in September. We've talked about that the last time we were. Excuse me. Excuse me. We talked about that the last time we were together. But September is hot.
Yeah.
It's a very hot time, and if we do, we will likely put that game later in the evening to a certain degree, at least 4 o'clock or so, potentially, so that the fans could enjoy the game without enduring so much heat. But a lot of the schools that we're playing in August, they are having their games in the evening to avoid those kinds of situations, and because we want the experience overall to be one that they can enjoy.
Well, we can kind of go over it. Northwestern State on Thursday night, that's a night game.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama A&M, that's the Cruise Classic, that's a 6 o'clock game.
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi State, that's a 5 o'clock game.
Mm-hmm.
And then the game in Memphis, that's a night game.
That's a
So
night game,
so
yeah.
it did solve that issue, at least for this year.
Mm-hmm. It did for this year, and I tell you, it's not enjoyable for the players, for the fans, I think, and we just don't want – we want to get more fans out to be able to enjoy it. And I think it's a testament to what people try to do the month of September just so that fans can have a good time.
And for our first home game, we've met about it. That first home game, high school and community colleges day, is normally a 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock game, but it's kind of been decided what time that will be. It'll be a little different.
Yep, it's going to be a little later in the afternoon, around 3 o'clock or so, because we're trying to get the kids on campus and let them enjoy and then move them right into the game, but at the same time allow our fans to get to campus, enjoy campus, and not be too bad in the stadium. Hopefully October will have calmed down a little bit from the heat perspective, and we'll be able to get started at a time where everybody can come in and get that thing over with between 5 and 6 o'clock and get everybody back on their way.
Well, talk about your expectation as an administrator, and you talked about Dr. Cook talking with the team. The expectations for Cedric Thomas in year 2. We had some good wins.
Mm-hmm.
And a tough way to end the season. We're getting ready for another season, the second season. We got home heavy on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
Grambling coming in November for the first time since I've been doing Alcorn football, and maybe Braves fans could chime in. Has Alcorn ever played Grambling in the month of November? Has that ever happened? As well as Southern University
back to back
coming in. So talk a little bit about that and just a home heavy schedule.
Well, I am excited about our home schedule. Really, really excited about our home schedule. Having Grambling and Southern come to our campus is really good for us, and the the homecoming that we have on our campus is not a conference opponent, but it's homecoming. So everybody will be there. So we're expecting a lot to come from our home schedule. A lot of fans to come out and enjoy. As far as Coach Thomas, we want to get the East. Let's just put it on the table. We want to win our side, and I'm sorry. We want to win our side, and then
the West.
The West. My apologies. We want to get the West, and be in that conference championship and have it on our campus. We love to do that, so we're excited about that, and I think he feels very confident about what he can do, and we're just ready for it. I think Coach Thomas is going to have a successful season. He wants to win the championship, and that's the expectation at Alcorn. That's what we've grown to be accustomed to. So we're just really, really ready to kind of move into that. I think we put some really good pieces together for the program. They're really excited about the pieces that they have. I've had a really good conversation with him. We had one student to leave our program and go to another institution and come back, which was exciting to have. So, I can tell the buzz is in the air for our program. I was just having a conversation with Demetrius House, our new sports information director. We're getting a lot more social media attention with some things. We had a great video to come out today because we're partnering now with Nike, and that that was released today. So we have some really positive things going on. I think it's going to show up in our program and in our student athletes.
Well, speaking of that, staff changes. There are some staff changes that have happened since the last time we talked.
It has. A couple of people have intertwined. We Dr. Alicia Shields-Gatson, who former athletic director at Delaware State, longtime athletic director, who came to our staff, is now, of course, as you know, the new athletic director at Mississippi Valley State University. Demetrius House, who was with us for a stint, is now back as our director of athletic communications and doing an amazing job. And we're going to be bringing on some more folks here pretty soon. So those are one significant departure and one significant hire that we have. And hopefully here real soon we're going to be adding some more pieces to the puzzle. Just brought on Ms. Kim Day as our new athletic business manager, who's been on our campus, but is going to do an amazing job as well. So we're going to have some things infrastructurally to change with our people, but definitely going to have folks that are going to be working hard to continue to make Alcorn very successful.
Well, you got Coach Morton getting acclimated, and I was in the arena the other day, and some guys working out. How many players does he have on campus?
Coach has about 13 guys on campus, and they are having I think a really good time based on talking to them. They're excited about being on campus and enjoying Alcorn, and Coach is working really hard with them. He's very excited about the group of kids that he's brought together, and everybody seems to be gelling in really, really well. Coach, even himself, is now that he's got the kids on campus, he can breathe now and start, coaching them a little bit more over the summer, getting everybody acclimated to his scheme, and that seems to be working out really well. We did some renovations to the old gym, so they are able to go utilize both facilities now, and we're going to be doing some upgrades to the Whitney, which is going to be starting here pretty soon, and so we're moving right ahead. But Coach he has with his assistants and everybody, he has those kids going, and we have a really good non-conference schedule that is going to be exciting for us. A basketball season, so it's going to show some things, and his relationships have brought in some really good competition for us for basketball season as well.
And I interviewed our volleyball coach. People are really excited about.
Oh yes, I can't say enough. Excuse me, about Coach Harris. She recruited probably 80% of the team that she has this year, and just really excited. She's doing some things, not just impacting the program, but she's just overall throughout the department. She's been a huge asset for us, and we're just excited to have her to be a part of what we're doing. And she was our assistant coach last year for volleyball, and we elevated her to the interim level. So having her now to really just kind of take over that program with the number of kids that she brought in, it's just going to be really, really exciting. So we're looking to kick off that season as well, and she has so much energy and wanting that turn our program around. I think she's going to be good for us.
Well, as we get ready for another sports season, the SWAC meetings took place last month. Some things have been decided on the basketball front. The Thursday, Saturday women's basketball games will continue. There was talk about that was a one and done, but it's going to continue. Talk about that discussion, those discussions that were had, and the decision to continue the Thursday, Saturday.
Well, for us, there were a number of factors that we had to take into consideration with that. After having the conversation, it couldn't have been just necessarily a one-time thing, because there were some commitments there that went along with that. And I'll let the SWAC talk about that a little bit more. But we're going to try it one more year and see what happens. But we do have the ability that if we have a program or a school that wants to do the doubleheader, and we agree to that, we have that flexibility to do that. So there will be some opportunities there if a program says, okay, look, let's just play Saturday, Monday, or Thursday, Saturday. We'll be able to have that conversation, and all parties agree. We'll be able to roll right into that. So we have been provided some flexibility in that area. But for the ones that are close by, We do have Southern in a doubleheader this year. Of course, Jackson State. The teams that are Mississippi Valley in a doubleheader. So we were primarily looking at schools that were kind of in a particular region if we wanted to do something like that. So we'll see how that plays out this year, and to make sure that we have the best experience for our student athletes as well.
And with the SWAC tournament starting a little earlier,
Oh, yeah.
I understand the last 4 games, Thursday, Saturday, then Tuesday, Thursday, to allow teams to get to Atlanta. That's if you're in the bottom bracket. Hopefully, I know we won't be, but there's that flexibility there.
Yes.
Those last 4 games a little bit different.
Yep, we'll have some flexibility there with that, and many of those games are doubleheaders that are in the last week to kind of go ahead and finish the season off. As you know, I thought you were going to mention, I'm sure you probably will, that all the teams are going to the tournament this year.
Yes.
In Atlanta, so the tournament will be starting on, I think, Monday of this year. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out with all of the teams coming in early and being a part of that. So, yeah, there are some opportunities there toward the end of the season that will potentially impact the outcome of some programs and where they fall, even though everybody's going to be at the tournament. The last part of the season will be very impactful on the standings.
Well, I want to let you get to check out the rest of this setup. This is this your first deal with this?
Yes, sir, it is, and it's exciting. I tell you, it's nothing like media day for football, and I have such a love for SWAC football. I grew up on it, loving some of its participants and watching those coaches and different things like that. So to be a part of it now is just a great opportunity for me. Growing up on Alcorn and watching those guys and having the opportunity to actually work with Coach Cassom was amazing. So now to be a part of where we are now, I tell you, I couldn't be more excited.
We appreciate you coming on. We'll be
Charles,
talking again.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time.
All right, we have some coaches that are already coming through. So we've got Coach Woody of Bethune-Cookman. I see Eddie Robinson Jr. talking with the SWAC. So we're going to take a break right here. When we come back, we will have our coaches interviews. We're going to try to get to everyone. They're coming in, so we'll get to it. This is why we're here, to talk with all the coaches. We have ADs that we'll be talking to. We'll try to get those in. Of course, Cedric Thomas will be joining us a little bit later. So we'll take a time out here. We'll be right back in 2 minutes. We'll be right back.